everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to check out this video. Maybe you've clicked on this because you're curious about Japan in general, or you've got a trip possibly upcoming and you want some tips. Well, I'm here to drop 15 of them that I believe that you need to know before you visit Japan, as I've just been for the first time ever from April 22nd until May 6th of 2025, and these tips helped me out massively. All I ask is just to give the video a big thumbs up, give it a like, just so it helps YouTube algorithm and tells other people that you like this content, and hey, maybe others might see this. But let's get into it. So tip number one is an eSIM. Now this is extremely important for when you're in Japan, of how to navigate and get around Japan without using your actual mobile data. So I actually used an app called AirTag. I got the 20 gig package. I ended up using 4 gigs throughout the entire holiday, so maybe you don't need as much, but essentially you can use these eSIMs to access your mobile data at any time and at any place when you need. So absolutely an eSIM is required and necessary, because not everywhere in Japan has Wi-Fi. Most places do, don't get me wrong, but it's just really handy to have so you can kind of plan out your day. Tip number two is cash money, the Japanese yen. That's right. So a lot of places in Japan, some do accept just card only and not cash, but primarily it is a heavy cash is king focused society and country. Not necessarily a bad thing whatsoever, but it's extremely important to get your yen beforehand, and I generally found that doing this before I actually went to Japan was really helpful, because here in the UK the yen is actually quite weak right now, so I managed to get a lot of yen for a really good price here in the UK, compared to when I actually did use the cash machine in Japan to get some yen out as further along in the holiday when I needed it, which actually was the worst of an exchange rate. Tip number three is a power bank / travel adapter. I found this really helpful for when I stayed in a capsule hotel. This is an Anchor power bank. It's not exactly the cheapest, but it's not exactly the most expensive either. But this holds about 4 full iPhone chargers, so that's really good. But I also found a travel adapter was really great. I found a universal one on Amazon for less than like £15. And the travel adapter that I picked up actually had a few USB ports included on top as well, so you could charge multiple devices at once, which I found to be no problem whatsoever, and it's just so handy for if you need to charge up your electronics through the day or at night. Number four might seem very obvious, but it is your passport. Yes, so this is actually really handy for a few reasons. Of course, to travel in general, but also I did see before going to Japan, a few people were saying, well, hey, because you might have tattoos, you might get pulled over by the police, and if you do, you need your passport on you at all times, which leads into point number 5 quite nicely, and that is for tax refunds. And the passport is essential. You do need this. They do swipe or scan the passport. Essentially, the tax refund is great. So if you spend around 5,500 yen, I think the qualifying minimum spend is, basically you go in the shop, you spend 5,500 yen, and they will scan all your items. You get a tax refund. Well, they'll take a total off your amount. Normally, most of the time, that's what happened for me. You keep the bag sealed until you get home, unless of course you need the item, then you don't put that through as the tax refund, and essentially you get money off the stuff you're going to buy in Japan. And trust me, you're probably going to end up buying a lot of stuff. So the tax refund policy is actually really, really good, and it saved me and my wife hundreds of yen on stuff we were going to buy anyway. So tip number 6 is one that I'm not going to say to you, right, you need to know loads, but it really helped me out massively, and that is to practice some Japanese. I used an app called Duolingo, which is completely free. Essentially, this helped me with my interactions in Japan massively. And also, I found that a lot of Japanese people I spoke to and the words I practiced, they were really shocked, but also really pleasant in the interactions. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't meet a single person in Japan that wasn't friendly whatsoever. Everyone was really, really lovely. But for example, if I used, like the phrase good morning or hi or good evening, like konbanwa, or jane, which means goodbye, like a lot of them had smiles on their face and kind of shocked that like I actually knew a few Japanese words, but also in interactions when they mentioned keywords, I actually knew them. Number 7 was a pretty handy one, and that is searching for the hotel location. So whether you're staying at a hotel, whether you're staying at a capsule hotel, a hostel, or wherever you're going to be staying in Japan, I think it is very important to research where that hotel is. Check pictures online of the location, what it looks like. Also, if your travel agent hasn't provided this, the check-in time and check-out time is also very important, but also how to get there. So me and my partner actually landed in Narita Airport, which I researched online. Okay, well, how do I get from Narita to Shinjuku? And that involved a Shinkansen. So I think just doing that little bit of research beforehand on how you get there definitely provided way less stress, and it just made the journey that more pleasant. Now, tip number 8 is handy if you're an Apple user, and that is an AirTag. So my wife bought this AirTag and she put this in her suitcase, simply because if your luggage gets lost, you can try at least locate that with the Bluetooth connection. So you could then report that and say, well, hey, actually look, Bluetooth says it's actually in this location here, or it was last seen here. So it just makes things a lot easier. But also at one point we used a luggage transfer service, which we put the AirTag into the case as well, just in case it got lost. They did give us a tracking number for that, but the AirTag was just really pivotal and just really easy and great to actually have a little gadget like that, and it was just so easy to use for my wife and I. Number 9 is a tip that before you go into Japan, you want to check the visa requirements and if they need you to have any certain paperwork to fill in before you get to the country itself. Now, being from the UK at the time of this video, there wasn't actually any visa requirements that I needed, and it was absolutely fine. When I got to the airport, I just had to fill in the custom forms, but of course every country is different, so just go onto the official website and check for yourself any visa requirements that you might need before you travel, because the last thing you want is to possibly travel and get turned away because you haven't got the correct paperwork. So this next tip touches on what I've just mentioned, and that is the Suica card. Now, you can either get this by a physical card or you can actually get it on your mobile phone on Apple and Android. I think it works better for Apple from what I've heard. Now, through the trip, my wife actually did download the Suica card on her Apple, and the money just came from her bank account. Now, this can be a good factor, but also it really depends again on the exchange rates that you get and if that would work out cheaper or more expensive. Now, when I got to Japan, I went to the machine and I bought a physical Suica card, which you can top up at any time. The minimum top up is 1,000 yen, and I think it goes up to 10,000 at a time. Now, you might also have a question, well, is the JR Pass worth it compared to this? My answer is no. So me and my wife traveled around multiple places every single day in Japan, where we either walked or took a train, and we used this card. Now, the JR Pass was between £400 and £600 that we were quoted, and I worked out with the amount of money that I topped up on this card, it came to around £100 in total. And again, that was taking multiple train trips every single day. So tip number 11 is when it comes to packing your suitcase, and it revolves around toiletries. Now, what I mean by this is I took shampoo, face wash, I also took some soap, and my wife had like conditioner and that kind of stuff. Now, the good thing is I can only comment from the hotels that I stayed in, and even including the capsule hotel experience, which I do have a video for on the channel. Essentially, the hotels we stayed in provided shampoo, provided conditioner, and body wash as well, and they were actually really good quality stuff as well. They provided hand towels, they also provided like actual like full wrap, you know, shower towels as well. So you don't need those toiletries, because ultimately that does add up to space you use in your suitcase, and it wasn't needed. But definitely do check your hotel time. They also provided toothbrushes as well, shavers. They provided like nearly everything that you would have actually needed, and again, it's just that little space saver in your suitcase. Now, speaking of space in your suitcase, the next tip is really handy for this, and that is the clothing you're going to take in Japan. Now, originally I thought, well, you know, while I'm there, am I really going to be buying t-shirts? Am I really going to be buying like jeans? Am I going to really be buying clothing? The answer I thought was no, but turned out I did. They have a flagship store called Uniqlo. Every hotel where you stay, at least again in my situation, they had laundry facilities where it maybe cost between 200 and 600 yen, including like the detergent, to wash and dry your clothes. And essentially it just saves you space to buy more clothing or just to buy more stuff in Japan in general, which means again less space that you are having with you when you go to Japan, so you have more space to buy stuff whilst you're there. So don't make the same mistake. Don't pack like 6-7 outfits. It's not really needed because of those washing facilities. So the last 3 tips that were on here, the first one is rubbish bins, and this is a myth buster I'm about to break, and I might make a separate video on this as well. So people and everyone on like TikTok and all this kind of stuff was like, oh, Japan don't have rubbish bins, you're going to be carrying your rubbish around all day. Absolute nonsense. So yes, it is true that in public Japan don't have many bins like on the streets, for example, like you'd see here in the UK. That is true. However, Japan have so many konbinis, which is convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Family Mart and Lawson, that each one of them have a bin, and they're located massively throughout Japan. You pretty much can't turn a street corner without finding one. Now the last 2 tips revolve around Google. The first tip is the Google Translate app. Now we found this to be really helpful for if we tried to speak to someone in Japan and they weren't understanding what we were saying. We use this app to write down what we want to say, show them the screen or play the voice, and they understood absolutely perfectly. But also this Google Translate app that we use, or just Translate app on the iPhone, was really great because you could actually take a picture of a product that you were buying and it tells you, don't get me wrong, it's not 100% phenomenal English what the product is, but it gives you a really good example of the product that you're looking at and the details contained in it. And this app of course is absolutely free as well, so 100% a recommendation to have for if you want to shop in Japan, maybe see a product and you just want to use a translate and take a picture of the product, and it will pretty much tell you what exactly it is. And this leads me on to the final tip of this video, and that is Google Maps. Now this is 100% an absolute necessity. Every day when me and my wife traveled around Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, or even getting to one place to the other, or even getting to like the airport to get back in the UK, which a little bit good to be back, I'll be honest. But anyway, Google Maps was great because it told us how to get from the hotel to the local train station, to how to get to the local train station to get to the next place I needed to go to, and therefore it tells you exactly what train you need, what time it would come, how many stops you need to take, the next stop, what that is, and the list of stops as well. And again, it tells you about how long the journey will take as well, so you know roughly of how long your journey is going to be. So Google Maps was honestly so helpful, and we use it every day with that eSIM I mentioned earlier, which I found to be extremely helpful, and it honestly helped us out every single day when we journeyed around Japan to get from one place to another. So those are 15 tips that really helped me and my wife when we went to Japan for the first time ever, literally just a few days ago at the time of this video. Maybe you'll see it a little bit later on YouTube. So yes, I really hope that these tips help you. Maybe put your mind at ease before you're going to be traveling, or maybe right now you're traveling in Japan and you're watching this video. Hopefully these can help you. If you'd like a follow-up part 2, or you'd like some more tips, or you just have any questions in general around Japan, leave a comment down below. I will answer every single comment that gets left, and I just really hope that this video helps you out, guys, because I just want to be honest, upfront, and just straightforward with you about my experience and what really helped me as well. So thank you so much for checking out this video, and if you guys don't already know, I do have a Patreon. It is only from £2 per month, and my Patrons get access to the videos like this and others before they hit YouTube, so definitely worth checking out. Feel free to join. It's only in the link down below in the description box. Now in the meantime, you haven't seen these videos around my experiences in Japan and maybe some other guides to help you out, well hey, click over here and have a bit of a deep dive. Until the next time that I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.